if you can heat water using electricity? Is it more cost effective to have both kinds of panels?
It depends on the specific situation. With solar electric, it's very versatile. It goes right into your service panel and it can be distributed throughout your house with everything with a plug. Solar hot water obviously is not as versatile. It's just going to preheat your water so that you use less natural gas or electricity. The advantage sometimes in solar hot water, it's the size of your family. If you have children, or how many people, what sex are the children? That's important as well. And budget. Solar hot waters, up until we had this residential PPA and some of these other offerings for solar electric, solar hot water has always been more affordable and less out of pocket. And so if you can't write a check for $15,000, you might be able to for $7 or $8, and then you still get a state tax credit and a federal tax credit to help. You can monetize those and help pay for the system. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yes, sir.
So there's a company that does a lease program. There's no money down. Is that still something that's available?
Yep, you can do that. There's that's Solar City company. They do a lease program where they have a couple different options. You can go no money down, and then you have a monthly payment. You can do a portion down, and then you have a monthly payment that might be a little bit less, and then you have a similar option to like the $6,000 down and $6,000 back. A lot of different options. So really right now in the state there's Solar City, which is one company, and then there's Sunrun, which is a finance company that partners with installers. So with Solar City, do you work for Solar City?
No.
For Solar City, you know, they're vertically integrated. They're a California company. They're very strong. They're a good company. But you know, with Sunrun, they're partnering with local contractors, people that have been doing solar around here for many, many years. So it's not quite as sweet, in my opinion, as the Solar City, but a lot of it comes down to how you make your decision and who you want to support and things like that. But yeah, those are the two programs. A lease is it's a PPA. It's the same, yeah, kind of interchangeable. Inverters don't degrade over time. They just die when they die, and they're done. Yeah.
No more power.
The panels, absolutely, though. The panels will degrade over time. Right now, it's about a 0.7% per year. They will degrade slowly over time. However, the life expectancy of a solar panel, is still unknown, because we have solar panels that were installed at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Colorado in the 1950s. They're still running. Although they are running at maybe 60% or 50% of what they did on day one, they're still running. So that's the key to solar power, is making the system last a really, really long time, and hopefully a lot of these systems outlast all of us in this room, hopefully. That would be ideal, and this even gets passed on to the next person, because they might degrade, but they're still running. They're still saving energy, so. Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah.
You do good? Thank you.
I usually start by just asking you what you want to hear about. Any questions on anyone's mind about wind that I can try to make sure I hit? Careers in wind?
Could be smaller.
So small, sort of home-sized wind turbines. What else? Saw a question in the back.
That was mine also, small wind technology.
Okay. Funding?
Bird strike.
Bird strikes, so interactions between wind and wildlife in general. Okay, well, some of that stuff really strikes in the middle of what Vestas does, and I can talk to you about that. Some of that isn't really our business, but I can give you some ideas about where to find information about that. What I'm really going to be able to tell you most about is about Vestas as a company, what we do, that'll give you a sense of what this industry is about, and also a sense about where wind is going in North America, what the future might be and what the challenges might be. And for those of you that are thinking career-wise, you know, some ideas about how you might plan around that. The slides I put together are mostly a mixture of kind of our general corporate presentation. So there's a lot about us, and we can talk a lot about us or a little, depending on what you want to hear about. I think the main message, to understand about wind is that this is an energy source that has grown really fast in the last few years in the United States and to a lesser extent in Canada. It's now, I think, at the point where it's a significant part of a lot of electric utilities' growth plans, either because they want to do it or because regulators and legislators are telling them that they have to do it. And the question now is, well, how much wind? Is it going to be a big part of our energy mix or a little part of our energy mix, and how do we want to treat it? And I guess for a company like Vestas, the other part of the story is that, as we've grown up, we've acquired, grown-up problems. And one of them is that, like solar, we are now existing in a very competitive industry, and there's a lot of new firms coming into wind with new ideas and a lot of energy. And, okay, so we're one of the oldest, and we're certainly the largest, but what does that mean for us, and how are we going to survive in that environment? So Vestas is a Danish company, headquartered in northern Denmark. It's about 110 years old. It started out as a sort of a blacksmithing operation, making agricultural implements, plows, harrows, things like that. Eventually, during what we think of as the first energy crises in the early 70s, they started playing around with wind turbines and actually made their first sale of wind turbines into California in the early 80s. And by the mid-80s, Vestas had sold off all the non-wind stuff and had become a pure-play wind company. We've installed about 43,000 wind turbines around the world, so that's the biggest operating fleet of any country, of any wind company. Right now, well, you can see the slide, we've got about a 15% market share globally. We're a growing company, but the market is growing even faster than we are as a lot of new companies come in, especially in China. What you're seeing here is Bigelow Canyon. That's a wind farm here in Oregon, out in Wasco County. These are our V82 turbines. So when we talk about the size of a wind turbine, we talk really about, if you look here, this is the circle that's swept out by the blades. And so we really talk about the diameter of that circle. And this is a V82, so that's an 82-meter circle. All right, so that's a little smaller than a football field. Our sort of flagship new release turbine has got a diameter across the rotor of 112 meters. So that's significantly longer than a football field. And we've just announced our V164. That's going to be a turbine that is available for offshore. So that's 164 meters. So you've kind of gone from the small scale, home-sized facility today, with residential solar, up to single generators that are going to be producing 6 megawatts with a size across the rotor of 164 meters. So that's kind of the range of renewable energy at this point. So as a company, we've grown pretty fast in the last decade. Early in the decade, we had 5,000 or 6,000 employees. What I'm showing you here is just number of employees. Up through 2010, we were about 23,000 people globally. Here in North America, I'll talk a little bit about our North American operations for a minute. This is globally. We've got a lot of folks. I guess what I want to point out to you is that here things got kind of tough for everybody in the world economically. Right? This was the economic crisis, the financial meltdown. And it hurt us as much as it hurt anybody else. We kind of tailed off growth, and at this point we're still adding people in North America, but I think everybody in the world has gotten a lot more cautious in the last couple of years. What do we do? So we're not really an energy company.